Hello, grade 9 students. In this presentation, we're going to talk about the carrier of the genetic information. What is the carrier of genetic information? What are the laws of heredity? And we're going to know about the transmission of the hereditary traits. Let's start first with the reproduction and genetics. So first, we have to know that reproduction is a biological process that leads to an increase in the number of individuals in each species to avoid their extinction. First, you have to know that this is the male symbol and this is the female symbol, and you have to know that X is related to mating. Reproduction either is sexual or asexual. Sexual involves the union of male and female, example like humans and animals, while asexual, it doesn't involve the union of gametes, it doesn't involve the male and sperm and ovum. Example about this, bacteria and some kinds of plant, they are produced asexual. Reproduction, as I said, either sexual, sperm fertilizes an egg to produce offspring, to produce descendants, while asexual, it occurs when one organism copies itself to produce the offspring. What is fertilization? Fertilization is the union of the male and the female gametes. It's the union of the sperm, as I said, and the ovum. So one sperm cell, whenever it unites with an ovum, they produce what's known by a zygote. So sperm with an egg cell, the ovum, they produce a zygote, which is going to be the embryo. So what is heredity? Heredity is the transmission of traits from parents to their offspring. What is genetics? Is the science that studies heredity. So here a figure about the animal cell. It has a nucleus, a cytoplasm, and this is the cell membrane. It should be drawn inside a box, given a title. So where is the genetic information found? Genetic information is found inside the nucleus. So what is a chromosome? A chromosome is an egg-shaped structure. Mainly it's found inside the nucleus, and it's responsible for carrying the genetic information. Chromosome is made up of DNA and protein. It's made of two identical sister chromatids. So these are two sister chromatids. This is the first one and this is the second. They are attached at the middle in a point that's called a centromere. And each chromatid has a short arm and long arm, P arm and Q arm. So centromere is the constricted region near the center. So this is the centromere in the middle, in the center of the two chromatids. It's the attachment site of these two chromatids. This is the P arm and this is the Q arm, short arm and long arm. A gene, what is a gene? A gene is a part of a chromosome responsible for the appearance of a specific trait, like the hair color gene. Every gene has a specific locus, a specific position. The two sister chromatids of each chromosome, they carry the same gene at the same loci. Alleles, they are version or a form of a gene. Like gene of hair color, it has brown eye allele, green eye allele, hazel allele, blue eye allele. Gene of the hair color, brown allele, blonde allele, red allele. Let's move now to the types of cells. We have two main types of cells. Either they are somatic cells or they are sex cells. Somatic cells. Somatic cells, they are diploid, while the sex cells, they are haploid. Somatic cells, they are all body cells except the gametes, while the sex cells, they are only the gametes, sperm and ovum. Somatic cells, they have two copies of each chromosome, while the sex cells, they have one copy of each chromosome. Somatic cells, number of chromosomes, they are 2n, while sex cells, number of chromosomes, it's 1n. In humans, 2n is equal 46 in the somatic, while 1n equal 23 in the sex cells. So this is one copy of each chromosome. Here we have 2 copies of each chromosome. This is a haploid, and while this 2 copies it's diploid, number of chromosome 1n equal to 4. Here it's 2n equal to 6. In diploid, there are 2 copies of each chromosome. They carry the same genes at the same locus, meaning that at the same position. They said to be homologous chromosomes. One of these chromosomes is inherited from the mother, is called maternal, while the other is inherited from the father, is called paternal. The pair of homologous chromosomes, as we said before, they carry the same genes, but may or may not carry the same alleles. The 2 sister chromatids, they're said to be identical. They carry the same genes and the same alleles. When the alleles are identical, the individual is said to be homozygous, or it's called pure, while when they carry different alleles, they're said to be heterozygous or hybrid. Alleles. We have dominant allele and recessive. Dominant allele is the allele that always expresses either homozygous or heterozygous. That's why it's usually symbolized by a capital letter, while the recessive it's only expressed in the case of homozygote. So that's why it's symbolized by a small letter. Let's go to Freer's model. What is a genotype? Genotype it's the set of genes and their alleles. Example about this, BB, BG, GG, and others. Non-example about them, blue, tall, long, and other traits. Moving now to phenotype. Phenotype is the set of traits and that are resulting from the expression of the phenotype. It's resulting from the genotype. Phenotype, example about them, tall, short, black, and non-example BB, BG, GG. Steps of the factorial analysis, you have to work in this. Steps: number 1, phenotype of the parents; number 2, genotype of the parents; number 3, gametes and percentage, or it may be ratios or proportion, table of cross, and finally we're going to have table of result. Note that test the cross is the cross of a dominant individual with a recessive. The aim is to determine the parent they are pure or they are hybrid, meaning that if they are homozygous or heterozygous. You have to know that crossing recessive with dominant, if they are pure, one phenotype in the offspring. If the dominant is hybrid, meaning that 2 phenotypes in the offspring. We have 3 types of cross. Number 1 is called self-cross. Number 2 is called monohybrid. Number 3 is called test cross. Case of heredity, it's case of dominance, one dominate, co-dominance, both of them they are dominant and co-expressed. Number 3, it's an intermediate dominance where there is a color that is intermediate, it's called incomplete dominance. The carriers of the genetic information in activity 3, you have to know that a karyotype is an arranged set of the chromosomes. It's diploid cell, they are arranged as pairs according to the criteria, decreasing order of size, position of centromere, and the banding pattern. You have to study these criteria. This example about karyotype, how they are arranged according to the decreasing order of size, position of the centromere, and the banding pattern. You have to know that chromosomes or sex chromosome, they determine the sex of the individual, whether it's a male or female. They are either the X and the Y. Y is exclusive only for male. If it shows 2X, meaning that it belongs to a female. If it shows X and Y, so it belongs to a male. Autosomes, they are all the chromosomes except the sex chromosomes. In humans, we have 22 pairs of autosomes. They are numbered from 1 to 22.